Do angels exist?
Yes.
Have you ever had experiences with these entities?
1. Raphael.
What did you see in this experience?
In my eyes, I saw a shape.
What was the shape?
The entity is a light. We are all entities of light. We just, as humans, happen to have a body. Because in order for us to relate to each other, we need to see a body. And suddenly I saw a light that was conversing with me. I got uncomfortable. I need to see something. So they give me a vision of a body.
What was the purpose of this experience?
It was to help somebody here on Earth that needed medical help.
Why you?
I don't know.
Where in the world was it?
No, it wasn't here.
It wasn't on this planet? Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Ray. Today we're going to be speaking about the idea of angels and demons. Do each exist? And if so, what is the difference between one and the other? How do they form? What are the dangers? What do we have to know? And how can we really use this knowledge in our day-to-day? So first and foremost, Ray, I want to say thank you for being here today.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Angels and demons. Let's start with this idea first, right? So we live in a world of many infinite different dimensions, whatever you want to call it. There are many things we can see. There are many things we can't see. There are a lot of people that speak about Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Michael, all these archangels and angels, and then demons we can leave till the end to, understand that on a deeper level. But my first question for you is, do angels exist?
Yes.
What is an angel?
An angel is an assistant to God.
I need more. I mean, like, how does an angel form?
Like anything else in this universe. By the source, by God, who creates whatever it chooses to create.
Yeah, but in like a linear way of thinking, is there somebody that reincarnated to be a human that eventually went through a process and a process and a process, went to higher levels and higher levels, and eventually graduated to be an angel? Is that how it works?
In some cases, yes. A human with a soul can reincarnate into an angel. But usually, not always, an angel is being formed by the source and put into a specific task that he has to perform as an angel.
Can you give me an example?
For example, Angel Raphael. He was formed by the source. He doesn't have a mother. He doesn't have a father. He has the source. He's being trained to do certain things in the universe, not only on this globe.
Why do you say he and not it?
It's just terminology. You can call it he, you can call it it. It's not an entity like a human.
So where do the names come from? I have yet to hear of a woman angel.
Because now you're talking female and male. There is no such thing as female and male angels.
I understand, but there's names like Archangel Michael and Archangel Gabriel and Raphael. Why isn't there Archangel Esther or Jessica?
There are. It just wasn't written in the books we are learning from. The names Michael and Gabriel were written in certain books. That's where the names came from. The source is Hebrew. Again, all those names are Hebrew names.
What about before the Hebrew language existed as the Hebrew language? They must have had names before then.
The Hebrew language always existed.
Aramaic always existed.
Same thing for me.
You're saying that alphabet always existed.
Yes.
Okay, that's another topic completely. I understand where you're getting at. You're not tying it to religion at all. You're tying it to essentially what I would tie it to, which is mathematics. It's based on creation as we know.
Yes, the alphabet. Again, the Hebrew alphabet has a lot of frequencies that, through them, you can actually create physical things.
I understand. Let's not get there yet. Let's focus on the topic at hand. So, angels. They can be formed. They have a beginning and an end.
What do you mean by end?
I am formed as Jason. I live this life in a physical body. And then at some point my physical body dies and the energy keeps moving.
Angels don't die.
Are angels born?
Angels are not born.
They're created.
Yes.
So they must have a point where they're destroyed.
No, they're being formed by the source for a specific task.
Are there countless of them, or are there a certain amount of them?
There are a certain amount of them. An angel could always be transformed or transferred to something else.
Like what?
For example, there's an angel called Uziel.
Uziel.
Uziel. Even though I know certain people praying, part of the prayers, they mention the angel Uziel in their prayers. He doesn't exist anymore. Not because he was killed or died, because he was transferred to something else.
It's interesting how there's Raphael and Michael and Uziel. Is the El a part of it?
It means God.
Elohim.
Yes, El is God in Hebrew. Aramaic, whatever you want to call it.
That's where the names come from.
Yes, for example, Raphael is an angel of medicine. The word refuah means healing. You understand? So in Hebrew, a doctor is not called a doctor. They call him Ro-Fe. Ro-Fe means a doctor, somebody who is healing people.
What about Michael?
It's more complicated to explain in English, so I'm not going to do it. But there's a meaning for every word.
Do you know the purpose of other angels by name?
For example, Gabriel, El, is God. Gaver, in Hebrew, means a man. So it's coming from the word man, which is Gaver. So Gabriel means strength, an energy of the male entities in this world. Then you have Uziel. Oz means bravery. Somebody who has Oz is a brave individual. So Uziel is an angel of bravery.
What's the difference between this and take Greek mythology? So you have Aphrodite, the goddess of love, and you have whatever, I can't think off the top of my head, but all these different gods or angels or frequencies that are archetypes that represent different things to help you tune into that frequency. Is there a difference, or are they correlated?
First of all, they're not claiming that they're angels. They're claiming that they're gods. They made it up because there's only one God.
Don't you think it's the same mechanism with different terminology?
No, totally different.
Why? Take in India, they have 33 million gods. That's what they say. But if you go there and you look at their culture, each entity represents something else to help you achieve.
Because it was made up by man.
In Hebrew, you have prayers, and each prayer represents helping you achieve something specific. What's the difference?
This is not a prayer. This is 33,000 gods, you said.
33 million.
33 million. You know it's a bunch of bullshit. It doesn't exist.
I disagree. I think that it was lost in translation and they meant something else, and over time people started lowering their frequency and started seeing it as something else.
No, it's coming from paganism. They are pagans. Going to a temple in India, what do you see? Statues. It's all paganism. In the old days, they used to pray for the statues. They still do it today, in a different form. Go to an ashram. Even here in the United States, they have beautiful ashrams. It's all about the statues. And what do the people do? They're going, and they bow in front of the statue, and they pray to the stone.
I agree with you. The intention behind that, or the consciousness and the awareness, has been diluted because they're praying to a stone. But what if one came from a higher place and used something, not as a god, but as a medium to help them connect? It's no different than using tefillin with the intention of understanding that it's a tool to help you connect.
No. Up to a few hundred years ago, they all believed. There are, like you said, 33 million gods. Everybody has their own god. This is paganism. They use the same paganism as thousands of years ago. Lately, they realize that it's an issue, and they realize paganism is not a positive thing. So they started calling those gurus the vehicles of God. But it wasn't like that originally. They still believe in many gods. There aren't many gods. There's only one God.
I think this is a conversation that will go forever because of a different use of terminology. But let's keep going on the topic at hand. So, angels, they're real, they're here, they're ones for different purposes. Have you ever had experiences with these entities?
One.
Which one?
Raphael.
Why?
Why what?
What was the context of the experience?
It's too weird to tell you. I'm not saying it on camera.
What did you see in this experience?
In my eyes, I saw a shape.
What was the shape?
The entity is a light. We are all entities of light. We just, as humans, happen to have a body. Because in order for us to relate to each other, we need to see a body. When I started in this field, and suddenly I saw a light that was conversing with me, I got scared. I got uncomfortable. I remember I specifically requested it. and I think it's in some of the papers I gave you, where I'm saying I need to see something. It's scary. I don't know how to explain the feelings I had at the time. So, they give me a vision of a body, that I know who it was. I was accustomed to it, even though I knew this light as Mr. X. But I couldn't handle it at the time. Eventually, when you start to understand that every entity is basically a light, and every light has a certain form, or certain color, when you go to the spirit world, the entities that you know as a light are coming in different lights. For example, there's a million different shades, billions of shades of white and yellow. It's endless. And I'll give you an example. If I'm going to be in China now, and I'm going to call you by picking up the phone.
You gave me this example, the voice.
Right. So you recognize the voice as me. I don't have to introduce myself, right? Because you know the frequency. Your brain can recognize it. And you carry the conversation. You don't have to ask, who is this? You know who it is.
So again, with Raphael, you saw a light?
I saw a light that became into a form. This was in the beginning of my journey.
And what was the experience? What was the conversation? What was the purpose of this experience?
It was to help somebody here on Earth that needed medical help.
Why you?
I don't know.
Would you say in that period of time you were used as a vehicle to bring that energy to that individual?
Yes.
How did it feel?
Scary. Because the physical location that I was in was totally out of this world. Totally. Like I can't even explain to you where I was.
Where in the world was it?
No, it wasn't here.
It wasn't on this planet?
No.
How'd you get there?
Ascension, the way we discussed before, with the body.
What year was this?
2012, I think.
Let's keep going. Angels and demons. God and the devil. I want to talk about that for a second. When it comes to demons, we can come back to angels later. There's a lot of people that say that there are a lot of negative entities that are going to attach to you and take over you and possess you and so on and so forth. I honestly don't even know what to think about that. My question for you is, with your experience, what are your thoughts on it? Do they exist? And then we could take it from there.